duck on a turntable, and if we look closely, we can see a space between his face mask and model. Also, look closely to the turntable. As she is going to stop, she bounced a little bit. Anyway, Duck had a splendid day. He works hard and makes everything go like clockwork.
Trucks and coaches behave well.
Duck has a gap between his face mask and eye. But the engines didn't like to puzzle about. He pretty often told them.
There are two ways of doing things, the Great Western Way or the wrong way. I'm Great Western and don't we know it, Great Rome?
The engines were glad when the visitor came. The engine's name is Diesel, and if you remember, we know him from his cameo in a previous episode. Anyway, have you noticed something? When Diesel is on the turntable, the studio equipment is reflecting on his windows. So Diesel pads smoothly towards them. Sir Topham Hatt introduced Diesel to Duck, but look at Sir Topham Hatt's car. His wheels are terribly crooked. Looks like our controller had a little accident. Anyway, Sir Topham Hatt agreed to give Diesel a trial.
Good morning, heard Diesel in an oily voice. Pleased to meet you, Duck. Is that James and Henry and Gordon too? I am delighted to meet such famous engines.
Duck leaves, and Diesel follows him. The silly engines were flattered, and all of them had wonky eyes. Also, James's leading wheels are derailed. So Duck and Diesel came to the yards, and not only Duck, but even Diesel is missing his eyebrows. Diesel tells Duck that Sir Topham Hatt is mistaken.
We Diesels don't need to learn. We know everything. We come to a yard and improve it. We are revolutionary.
Have you noticed how much the camera bounced? It looks like there's an earthquake on the island of Sodom.
Oh,
And there are huge gaps between Duck's faceplate and eyes.
perhaps you would collect my trucks while I fetch Gordon's coaches.
When Duck left, you can see a bunch of steam coming out of track. Later, when Duck returned, Diesel was trying to fish some trucks from the siding. They were old and empty, and not touched for a long time, and some hairs come out from this truck. Diesel found them hard to move.
Push!
The scene didn't even completely start it, and you already derailed the track, Diesel. Also, Duck disappeared from the siding.
Oh, oh. The truck's grown.
Why those trucks look so much different? This is how they were looking like in a previous scene, but now they look more cubic and they even gained faces.
Diesel lost patience. He roared, gave a great heave.
Did you see that when Diesel gave a great heave, you could see some truck behind him completely off the rails, and when Diesel pulled the truck behind jumped back into rails.
Trucks can't fall. Oh, oh. They screamed, we can't, we won't. Some of their brakes snapped, and the gear jammed in the sleepers.
I have a question. Where is that steam coming from? It cannot come from a duck because he is nowhere to be seen, and if he will be, the steam will come from the left.
Diesel recovered and tried to push the trucks back, but they wouldn't move. Duck ran quietly round to collect the other trucks. Thank you for arranging these, You were having such fun being Rev, whatever it was you said.
Duck went to collect other trucks. Duck's handrail is crooked. And Duck left. Diesel was furious.
That's
Later,
funny.
Diesel helped to clear the mess. He hated it, and makes matters worse, the truck started singing.
Trucks are waiting in the yard, packing them with Diesel. Show the world what I can do. Gaily boasts the Diesel. In and out he creeps about like a big black weasel. When he pulls the wrong trucks out, up goes the Diesel.
Diesel scuttled away to solve in a shed. So those are all of the goofs found in Season 2 episode Bob Goes the Diesel. I hope you enjoyed this video, my dear train lovers, and I will see you next time.
My previous job did not provide any health insurance. Here, they give you benefit the day.
Alright, so at the beginning of the episode, we can see Henry who goes to the shed for a rest. But Percy was already there with two saddle tank engines. The show didn't introduce them yet, but later in season they were introduced as Bill and Ben, the tank engine twins. So Percy tells them a story how he helped Thomas during the bad weather. But pay attention, what story is Percy talking about?
Water swelled under my boiler. I couldn't see where I was going, but I struggled on. Oh, Percy, you are brave.
Percy is telling about the episode that takes place a season later. In the railway series, story Percy takes the plunge takes a place after Percy's promise. So is Percy a clairvoyant or this is a goof? We can see a piece of a sticky tab.
Tell us more.
And so Henry finally arrived. But if you was looking closely, you could spot that Henry's tender bounced.
The shed is for the Fat Controller's engines. Go away. Silly things, Henry snorted.
And so Henry expelled the engines. Listen again, what is the reason?
The shed is for the Fat Controller's engines. Go away.
But Bill and Ben are the Fat Controller's engines. Back in the railway series, Bill and Ben roles were played by some black British tank engines. But the show didn't have money to build more engines, so they chose Bill and Ben, and believe it or not, they also planned to use Donald and Douglas. And so the twins left. But listen closely. Their chopping sounds can be heard too late. That made Percy cross.
They're not silly.
But Henry still stands his ground.
They are silly, and so are you. Anyway, said cheeky Percy, I'm not afraid of water. I like it.
Percy's eyes are wonky.
He ran off to the harbour singing. Once an engine attached to a train was afraid of a few drops of rain.
No one ever forget the time when Henry wouldn't come out of the tunnel in case the rain will spoil his paint. Now look closely to the background. You can see that all those trucks are derailed. Wait a second. Did you notice what the narrator said?
He ran off to the harbour singing.
But Percy is already at the harbor. And his cylinder is on the loose. Then the engines look at the board. Thomas told Percy about what happened when he passed the danger sign.
Danger means falling down something. I went past danger once and fell down a mine. I can't see a mine. He didn't know that the foundations of the quay had sunk.
But that makes no sense. You can briefly see that the quayside is leading to the ocean. Percy began to make a plan. One day he asked the trucks for a bump when they get into the quay. But trucks only giggled. They've never been asked to bump an engine before. But Percy tells them his driver doesn't know about his plan. And trucks started pushing Percy, but Percy thought they were helping. But every wise engine knows that you cannot trust trucks. So Percy stopped next to the boat, and trucks started pushing him.
Go on, they yelled, and brought Percy's driver and fireman off the footplate. Oh!
Percy's eyes are wonky, and the crew member's hand is reflecting in the water.
Said Percy, sliding past the board.
Okay, there are three things wrong. First, why is Percy smiling? He should be scared about it. Then the narrator said the trucks bumped Percy's driver and fireman off the footplate.
And brought Percy's driver and fireman off the footplate.
But how can Percy apply his brakes without them? And also, why is Percy passing that board again? He already passed it previously. And Percy slipped to the ocean. But have you noticed something? Let's replay this footage. See that those trucks derailed themselves before the crash?
Percy was sunk.
Later on, Sir Topham Hatt came visit the place of accident.
You are a very disobedient engine. Percy knew that voice.
And have you noticed that to make this scene looking realistic, they used a large-scale model of Sir Topham Hatt, not a small-scale model put nearby the camera. That's why it's so big.
Please, sir, get me out, sir. I'm truly sorry, sir.
But Sir Topham Hatt says no, and they had to wait until the high tide.
I hope it will teach you to obey orders. Yes, sir. It was dark when they brought floating cranes to rescue Percy.
Did you see that? Diesel is seen in the background, though not yet introduced. Anyway, cranes were lifting Percy onto the flatbed. He was too cold and stiff to move by itself. And also, he made himself a dirty Percy. Next day, Percy was sent to the works of Henry's goods train.
Well, 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 chuckled Henry. Did you like the water?
Oh, hang on a minute. Henry's eyes jitter. So Percy said he don't like water anymore, and Henry continued with teasing him about determination.
Water's nothing to an engine with determination, you know. Perhaps you will like it better next time.
And so Henry and Percy went out of the harbor. Percy, however, hopes there will not be determined next time. So those are all of the goofs found in Season 2 episode Percy Takes the Plunge. I hope you enjoyed this video, my dear train lovers, and I will see you next time.
Catholic Friend has free delivery.
What will you design at canva.com?
Alright, so at the beginning of the episode, we can see Diesel sulking. If you remember, Diesel got into a trouble when he was trying to pull some trucks from the siding. Now the trucks are rudely singing at him. Duck was horrified, and he was trying to make them quiet.
Shut up, he ordered.
Did you see that? A truck has been pulled by a fishing wire. And Gordon's eyes are wonky. Duck was sorry for Diesel because of trucks, but Diesel was still furious.
It's all your fault.
Diesel is missing his eyebrows. Henry says Duck will never do that. But look at Henry's buffer beam. His coupling chain is upside down. And he has a crack in his socket.
We engines have our differences, but we never talk about them to the trucks. That would be disgraceful, said Gordon. Disgusting, put in James. Despicable, finished Henry.
Wait a minute, have you noticed why is that camera wobbling again? The cameraman must be nervous about something. Diesel hated Duck. He wanted him to be sent away. Next day, Diesel spoke to the trucks.
I see you like jokes. You made a good joke about me yesterday. I laughed and laughed. Don't tell me one about Gordon.
Look at the background. Trucks have faces. Previously, none of the trucks had a face mask,
Don't tell Gordon I told you.
so Diesel sniggered away.
Oh,
This truck has a crooked face.
let's tell him and pay Duck out for bumping
The trucks were having a big fun.
the engines as they went by.
Have you noticed something? When Henry passes by, lighting seems to be different than in scene with Gordon. What whistle sound does Henry have now? This is how his whistle's supposed to be.
Henry and James found out why. Disgraceful, disgusting, despicable, said Henry. We cannot allow it. They consulted together. Yes, they said. He did it to us. We'll do it to him and see how he likes it.
Meanwhile, Duck was tired out. He wanted to rest in a shed. But look at Duck's face. Top of her almost comes to loose. Anyway, the three engines blocked his way.
Keep out.
James's face mask is off the center. Sir Topham Hatt came to see what happened.
Duck called me a galloping sausage.
Gordon has red spots on his face.
Rusty red scrap iron, hissed James. I'm old square wheels. The Fat Controller recovered. He'd been trying not to laugh himself. Did you, Duck?
Duck says he didn't do that. Diesel flared up.
Now, Diesel, you heard what Duck said. I can't understand it, sir. To think that Duck of all engines. I'm dreadfully grieved, sir, but know nothing. I see, said the Fat Controller.
Diesel's face is very crooked. Sir Topham Hatt had trust Diesel and sent Duck to Edward's station. Duck trundled sadly away, while Diesel smirked with triumph. So those are all of the goofs found in Season 2 episode's Dirty Work. I hope you enjoyed this video, my dear train lovers, and I will see you next time.
I have one more video in here.
We're connected to the land and the sea. I'm gonna feel Aquaman's family. He needs us. We're the end of the bloodline. No, we're not.
Alright, at the beginning of the episode, we can see Duck talking sadly to Wellsworth. If you remember well, Diesel told lies to troublesome trucks, and they made Gordon, James, and Henry looking silly. The news spread quickly to Sir Topham Hatt, and he sent Duck away. So Duck arrived at Edward's station, and here we can see our first goof. When we look closely at Duck's cap, we can see his whistle missing, and he has a crooked face.
Diesel has been telling lies about me and made the Fat Controller and all the engines think I'm horrid.
I have a question. What happened to Duck's eyebrows? One of them has a different shape than the other one.
I know you aren't, and so does the Fat Controller. You wait and see. Why don't you help me with these trucks?
Duck went happily with Edward and set to work by once. The trucks were silly, heavy, and noisy, and two engines had to work hard all afternoon. Wait a minute, why is this man wearing a faceplate? He previously didn't have nothing like this. Also, look at the background. The sea looks painted at an angle. Later, Duck left. He puffed happily down the line, but not long after, he heard a guard's warning whistle. The trucks have broken away.
Hurrah, 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 laughed the trucks. We've broken away, we've broken away. Chase him, bump him, throw him off the rails, they yelled. Hurry, Duck, hurry.
The trucks were catching that, and then they catch him gradually.
Oh, glory, look at that.
James was pulling a passenger train out of the next station. Any minute there could be a crash. But look at James's coaches. Their roofs are terribly crooked. Duck pulled all of his weight against the trucks, but they were unable to stop.
It's too late, Duck groaned and shut his eyes.
He didn't shut his eyes, they're completely open.
He peered into a siding where a barber had set up shop. He was shaving a customer.
Look closely to James. Why is he smiling? He isn't paying attention to the upcoming accident, or he still hates Duck, so he wants to make Duck hurt himself. Now there's something about his crush. Any guesses? Look at a tree. He completely started shaking like being hit by a duck, although Duck has hidden a house. The trucks paid no attention to this, feeling rather pleased with themselves.
Beg pardon, sir, gasped Duck. Excuse my intrusion. No, I won't, said the barber.
Why is he smiling? And also, why is everyone smiling? Even Duck. One of them should be shocked. I wouldn't be smiling when an engine will almost kill myself. Later, Sir Topham Hatt came with it. What happened?
I do not like engines popping through my walls, fumed the barber. I appreciate your feelings, said the Fat Control, but you must know that this engine and his crew have prevented a serious accident. It was a very close, shave. Oh, said the barber. Oh, excuse me.
And the barber washed half of Duck's face.
I'm sorry. I didn't know you were being a brave engine.
We can see a bunch of studio equipment. And so Thomas was trying to pull Duck from the house. But look at his eyes. At one moment, they're pretty wonky. Also, we can see a bunch of sticky tack. Then Sir Topham Hatt had more news for Duck.
You are coming home. Home, sir? Do you mean the yard? Of course. But, sir, they don't like me. They like Diesel. Not now. I never believed Diesel, so I sent him packing.
Oh, really? Previously, we saw Duck on the viaduct. He was sadly puffing to Wellsworth same day as he was sent away. So what happened? Did Diesel cause a big deal of trouble very quickly? Or the trucks have told the truth, and so Diesel was sent away by that way? Still becomes an unanswerable Thomas question. Anyway, the engines were happy to see Duck back home. And I don't even want to point this out, but a few engines have wonky eyes in this shot.
There was a really rousing welcome for Duck the Great Western Engine.
So those are all of the Goofs found in Season 2 episode, A Close Shave. I hope you enjoyed this video, my name is Ray, and I will see you next time.